Hey guys, it's Kate. I'm here to do a quick watercolor and doodle today, and I really want to work with some colors I don't work with that often. And so I thought for this color palette I would do this brilliant yellow, grass green, and olive green in the MozArt Komorebi palette. So let's get going and mix these colors on the page. I'm going to spray my palette just to get it moist in the area where I'll be working with color. And I've got my round brush ready to go. My water is back here right off a camera, and I've got a paper towel to blot right to my right. And I'm going to work wet on dry today, but I'm going to dip into my color and get it into my little mixing well, which is a sauce cup, which works really nicely. So I wanted to go a little bit bright with the yellow and then have those greens in there, and we'll kind of see how it turns out. All right. Grab some extra water and mix that up. So I've got my colors ready to go, and I like it. It's just kind of easy to dip into these, so let's see what we got. And I'm just going to kind of go in just easy like and make some blobs just like that. Nice. And let that kiss a bit. Just a little bit. I want to keep my colors fairly pure on this, but I want a good mix. Just like that. And I'll let it go into that yellow in a couple of different areas and drop it in. And I'm being kind of liberal with the water, not worrying too much about anything, just letting it spread and do its thing. And I'm going to drop some of this olive green down here and let it mix with that green. I'm letting there be some water too. I'm going to just come over here and let that yellow and green kind of spread together and form a little bit of an abstract shape, and just let it flow. Same thing up here. I'm just going to wet this paper a bit, and then I'm just going to touch it. Just like that. And I'll probably drop in a little bit of yellow up here too, and let that blend. And maybe a little right here. Like that. And maybe I'll come in with this green and put it right there in that water that I wet the bottom with. Come in here with that yellow. I like how these colors mix together. I think that looks really nice. Let's see. Let's come in up top with some of this darker green. How about right here? And maybe I'll drop some yellow in there too. And over here. Then I've got my brush wet and blotted. I'm just going to join this up like that and come in with some more of this yellow. I think that looks nice. Now I'm dropping a little bit more of this green in some places just around the edges to darken it up a bit. But I don't want to mess too much with the color. I'm just adding some extra interest. Same thing here. Add a little bit to the edge. And let that go into the yellow a bit. Just like that. And we'll see how that dries. That might cauliflower a little bit, but I'm actually okay with that. I don't mind having a little bit of extra texture on this. I'm just playing with color and letting it blend. And I think that's a really neat effect. You never know how it'll dry, but I like how it looks so far. What do you think? I love watching it kind of spread out and do its thing on the paper. That's like the joy of watercolor, I think. I'm going to go back into this yellow a bit, get it a little bit watery, and I'm going to drop it into a couple of these little dark areas like that. And I think that's going to cauliflower, but like I said, I don't really mind. For this one, I'm going for the texture. And I'm just going to play. What do you think? I like that a lot. Yeah. Let me go back into this just a little bit. I'm going to add it right over here. And right here. And just make the colors dance, right? It's really neat to just sort of give up control and let things happen. I love that. I'm going going to go over this and add some flourishes and color a little bit in this and just see how it turns out. Now, I am going to be filling in this part right here, and I'm going to let this kind of go off the page a bit so that it just kind of flows into the watercolor. So let's see how this turns out. And I'm just going to color right in lightly where I have this. Just holding my stencil down and letting it go in there with a little bit of texture, a little bit of pattern, and we'll see where it takes us. Because I like that white space around the side, but it doesn't have to be all white. We can have some stuff coming in. Why not, right? And I like that it might be able to just kind of blend in without there being too much busyness going on, and then I can decide what to do over it. And so I'm just going to color on through here and keep on going right over that watercolor. And hopefully a little bit of this pattern will show up, but not too much. And you could go over this with ink. You could go over it with paint if you have acrylic paint, or even maybe some more watercolor if you have that on hand. That might work really well too. I'm just playing around, so we'll just see where this takes us. Let's pull this up and see. Oh, I like that. That looks pretty. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Let's go in. Let's go in from this side. How about that? Very nice. I like that a lot. Okay, let's put that aside. And what do we want to do next? Okay, I grabbed a couple of Posca pens. I've got this dark green and this yellow, and I don't know how well this will show up, but let's give it a try. And I am going to come in and do some lines and curves just to kind of match what's going on there. And it's showing up very, very faintly on the paint, but I'm okay with that. It's just adding a little bit of extra interest. You know what? I'm gonna go right over this way and meet it there, and let's go here, and how about right up through here, maybe over this way too. And do we want to come down right through here? How about that? I like it. Okay. Now we're gonna, I think, do some of my favorite leaves. So how about we do one here and come down just like this to the end of the paper. And I'm going to make this line pretty thick, like that, and come out so it gets thicker at the bottom, and I can have a decent stem like that. And I'm going to do another little one right here. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to do some long leaves and color these in. What do you think? What do you think of that? I think that looks pretty good. Okay. I love that contrast. And I'm just making these basic leaf shapes. They're very easy to do for beginners. It's almost like two S shapes and just join the ends. But when you put them all together, well, then you have something special going on. Now, I'm going to use this same color. It doesn't matter if it overlaps because it's just going to be like they're kind of next to each other, so that's okay. And I'm going to just have it coming right up here, almost like it's in front. But I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I like going over the yellow and the other things I've got going on. Wonderful. What do you think? I'm asking you like you can respond, but you can leave a comment. So I really love feedback. If you'd like to leave some, I would love to hear from you. It makes my day. So I grabbed a couple of pens off camera. I have my metallic paint marker, and this has kind of a thicker bullet tip like this. And I was thinking of using this, but I'm not sure. I also have this white uniball, but I have a gold uniball. And I was thinking I might try that on the leaves. So let's see how this looks. We'll just have to see. Now, because I have these overlapping, I have to decide which one I want in front. And I think I would like to have the little one in front, just because. I don't really know why, but it just seems right. So since I want that in front, I'm going to start here first so that I don't confuse myself later. And I'm just going to add some detail on the top of each leaf, just for a little bit of something shiny. Just like that. And I love this uniball, actually. That's pretty sparkly. Not bad. I'm going to hold it up so you can see. It looks really nice. All right, let's keep going. Now, since that's in front, I'm just going to kind of put gaps in this on these bottom couple of leaves. And then I'm just going to kind of continue on. And I'm kind of being a little bit messy with these, and that's okay because I like that. So, but if you prefer, you can be cleaner with your line for sure. It's just personal preference. I have so much here that stencils, so I like having just that little bit of extra, almost like a little bit of a mess. And then I'm going to come right down and do this stem. Just like that. Now, I think I'd like to add maybe a couple of little white dots in here. Maybe I'll just add them to the background a little bit behind the plants for some extra visual interest. And I'm just kind of scattering them around, getting them sort of randomly. Just like that. And there's sort of a hint of them because the paint is a little bit light, so it's not too much. I really want to try some on the leaves, but I just don't know. I think that might be too busy. So I'm going to resist the urge. But I do want to add some in here where they are noticeable. Like that. I think that looks really nice. What do you think? I'm going to get this closer so you can see. And there's that gold sparkle. That's not a bad pen for being gold. I think we're going to call this done. So I hope you enjoyed doing this with me today, and until next time, keep creating.